Hi, friend. I'm so excited to share that you can be one of the first to grab my new book, Paper Play. It's a unique book that doesn't contain pages to read. Instead, it's filled with pages meant to be torn out and transformed into art. This is just a proof copy that I'm using. I'll be sharing a full flip through very soon since I just actually received copies yesterday and haven't had a chance to film yet. The papers are fun and easy to tear out, and you can cut, craft, and create to your heart's content. Thanks as always for your support and love. I'm going to walk you through how this layout came together. Here's the new printer for the studio. It's the Canon Selphy CP1500. If you have followed this channel for a while, you know that I love my little printers. And this is my third Canon Selphy that I've owned. And the first one ended up lasting, I think, 8 to 10 years. So it's really a wonderful device. And I fast forwarded this a little bit, but it takes about a minute per print. And the quality is amazing. I really love it. I printed this wirelessly from my iPhone and had two pictures side by side, which you can do in the app. I'm folding off the edges. They're perforated and tearing them off. And what I want to do is set up the base of the scrapbook layout. So I turned that page from Paper Play upside down because I wanted the sun upright. And I think I want to actually cut apart the two photos. So I'm taking my Fiskars paper trimmer, and I also want to have the border be a little bit thinner. So I'm simply cutting off the portion that I don't want there. You could definitely not have a border as well. That's another option when you're printing with the CP1500, but I like the white border for this because I wanted to pick up some of the white from that other page. Now I'm going to rip a few more pieces out of here. I'm trying to figure out which ones because I love this color and I'm having a hard time deciding whether I want to actually tear it or not. But I decided that's what I'm going with. And this wrinkled page I love too. So we're going to go with that one, and let's flip through here and look for another one. Ooh, this one might be good. I find these pages to be really versatile. You can use them on all kinds of paper projects. I cannot wait to see what you create with them. I'm going to go with this one. I'm just going to rip it out in its entirety and probably use the whole thing. So I'm wondering if I should pick out a few more or one more piece throughout here. And this blue grid looks nice. I want to check what's on the back to see if that's any better or if I wanted to save part of it, but I'll tear off a little piece in the corner and use that. So now I want to make sure I have the base down because I already have an idea of what I want to do in my head. It's a very super simple layout that you can make. It's two of the Paper Play papers side by side, this scrap right in here, and then this one on the top somewhere. With this piece, I think I want it at the edge and the bottom. I haven't finalized where I want the photos, but I like them right about there. That looks good. Now, to get the bottom, I think I want to take the paper trimmer and just have it go all the way to the bottom edge, like so. Checking the back once again and just cutting it here. There, that looks good. So once I have everything placed, that's when I take the adhesive. This is Tombow adhesive, glue everything down except for the photos. Now, the reason I don't glue the photos down right away is because I want to make sure the other elements are placed first, which is going to be these thickers. They're my thickers with American Crafts from many years ago, and I have saved a lot of packs of these because I use them for home decor. I use them for all kinds of things. I love the gold glitter, and I'm so sorry if you have trouble finding them. I'm sure you have some alphabet stickers in your stash that you can use. And when I place the letters, I'm not too exact. I know other people like to use a ruler for placement, but I just sort of eyeball it. And I also know that these are pretty forgiving as they are foam. So if I wanted to, I could really peel it up like I'm doing here and simply adjust accordingly, like so. Taking a Tombow marker, adding just a little line underneath there, and it looks like I want another one over here somewhere. Now, these Tim Holtz alphabet stickers have been used for a very long time. I've had them for many years, and I want to incorporate them up here. And then I think I want to write down the rest of the quote, or part of the title at least, with this Tombow Funosuke. The light is in your... All right, I'm taking a quote from Rumi, and when I'm placing these next thickers, I decided that I know that I want the center of the word to be right there. So that's what I started with, is the middle letter. And then I'm going to go ahead and build the back end of it, or the last part of it, and then do the front part. And as far as placing goes, you can definitely use a ruler. So what you would do is you would stick them onto the top of the ruler, and then you can drag it around and see where the letters fit before you actually commit to sticking them down. Using a quote for the title is easy. You can search on Google, you can search on Pinterest, and I like to have something in mind, but if I can't come up with exactly words I want to say, but let's say an element, I wanted to focus on light heart, but I also wanted to focus on the journey. Anyway, I searched, I think, light quotes on Pinterest, and this is the one that really resonated most. If light is in your heart, you will find your way home. And that's by Rumi. Now, for this other picture, I think I want to stick it there, but I'm going to just set it aside. And I'm taking this ruler because I want to add stitching to the bottom of it. So I'm going to take this pencil and I'm drawing a line straight across where I want the stitching. Next, anytime you stitch on paper, you want to poke the holes in advance. It'll save you a lot of agony. So I have a little mat on the bottom and then a paper piercer on top, and I'm just poking holes for a straight stitch, essentially, with gaps in between. Something to keep in mind is that you don't have to have perfectly straight or perfectly separated holes, because you want to make sure people know that it's hand stitched. Now I'm taking this Tombow eraser and just erasing that pencil line, because I know that I want the stitching in white and I don't want to have any evidence of the pencil line showing. Here I'm going to make 4 holes for each X, and then again on the bottom over here, same thing, and maybe some stitching at the top too, and instead they're just going to be stitches going across. Down here I'm going to poke holes for another line, and I don't need a ruler because I can just eyeball and see where they need to go. Now up here I want to continue the sun a little bit with some stitching. I think this is going to be a back stitch, so I've grabbed this pencil and I'm just freehanding the rest of the circle that I imagine would be there, and then poking holes without leaving any gaps, because it's going to be a back stitch. So making sure that they're a little closer, because when they're rounded edges that you're going to stitch around, you want to make sure that the holes are a little closer together. Taking a template out of my stash, this was also a collaboration with American Crafts from many years ago. I want to use this heart, and so I'll just poke the holes around it and have it right there. Okay, the stitching was done off camera, but you can see here that it's all set. And because I'm obsessed with thick painting, I'm going to add some thick paint right here with this spatula tool. This is yellow, and it's going to take a few hours or a day or so to dry, but I'm just smearing it right up here in this little sunshine. This is the first time I've done this on a scrapbook page, but I think I'm gonna like the effect because it feels cohesive, and I don't like to waste paint, so I've got a little bit more that I'm going to add right down there. Now this photo I think needs to be popped up, so I'm taking these foam dots and I'm going to put them around the inside, sorry, on the inside, and then I'll peel off these little stubborn little sticky things so that I can stick it down and have some dimension to the photo right about here. That looks good. Lovely. Now in hindsight, I should have probably added the journaling before I put the picture down because it wasn't that easy to write. But that's a learning for you, and I think that I'll take it with me for the next layout. All right, I decided that I want to indicate the dates, and I'm taking this Altenew Berry Cool ink, and this date stamp is from Office Depot. I love a good date stamp, so anytime you can find one, I would suggest you have it in your arsenal. And I'm going to stamp it here and then get the other date so that I have them indicated for both. And look, I was reaching for something and I accidentally got my sleeve in the paint. So not to worry, this is my raincoat and my sweatshirt. Ugh. I think most of it's off, and let's see what it's done. Ooh, it's kind of messed that up. I don't know. Can you even tell though? All right, I'll fix that in a second. Let me just finish stamping this date. I wrote the locations down as well, and then I am cutting them out. And I realized that I made another mistake. I used 2 sheets of paper for some reason, or I cut through 2 sheets of paper. Whoops. All good, no worries. This is exactly why I'm not a perfectionist. I'm not too hard on myself. Crafting is a joy, even when you make mistakes. And also, it's a good learning because hopefully I won't make the same mistakes as I've done on this layout. That's 3 of them so far. And I'll just make new fun mistakes. Going into my stash, pulling out some ink and this camera stamp, which is super fun. And I'm going to rub off some of the ink in the corners in case it got any on there and stamp it right on top of this. Now, one of the cool parts is that the paper looks like there's a strip of washi tape, and I wouldn't have been able to actually stamp on paint like I have, but it looks like I want something right there. So I'm going to grab this Posca marker. This color is so perfect. It's like this peachy coral sort of. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure it has a name, but I'm so sorry. I don't know what the name is. And I'm going to draw a little heart there. Here's something that I don't know I would have done again if I had the choice, but like I said before, I probably wouldn't make this mistake again. I don't really like the lines that I've drawn here, but I drew them in pen, so they're staying, which is fine, I suppose. But I don't know that I really love that aspect. But overall, I think I'm happy with it. I want to add a little bit of white paint. This is the white thick paint again. It's acrylic, and it looks like there's a little dried blob in there, so I'm going to try to get that out. And actually add a little bit more paint on top to see if I can just smooth it out. No, I think that blob needs to, maybe it needs to come out. Yeah, let's just grab it or try to flatten it. Oh, there it goes. And I can just put that in the trash and then smooth this out so it goes across. Ooh, I like the way that looks. Don't want to waste paint, so I'm going to add another one up here. This is fun. Posca marker and another favorite color. It's this minty green, and adding some dots. Trying to be mindful to avoid dipping my sleeves in paint again. And really, the final touch is just being patient and waiting for the paint to dry. So I hope you enjoyed watching the process of this layout coming together. I really hope that you get your hands on paper play. I'll be making a lot more projects with it. Let me know in the comments if you grab a copy. It's linked below along with the supplies that I know you can get your hands on. But feel free to use your stash, maybe pull out some paints, some embroidery. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Give this video a thumbs up. I hope you feel inspired to get those creative juices flowing, my friends.